Every morning, across the world, millions of people wake up with the same silent thought: I need more money. Some hope just to pay rent. Others want to escape debt. A few dream of luxury cars, mansions, or freedom from their jobs. But no matter the details, the longing is the same: a desire for more wealth, more abundance, more freedom. And yet, here's the painful truth. Most of those people will never achieve it. Not because they aren't smart enough. Not because they don't work hard enough. And certainly not because money isn't available. They'll fail because they are trapped by something invisible, something so powerful it shapes their entire destiny, their mindset. Now listen carefully. Wealth does not start in your bank account. It doesn't start in your business. It doesn't even start with your career. Wealth begins in one place, and one place only: your mind. And in this documentary, we are going to reveal the only mindset you will ever need to attract wealth. The mindset that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary successes. The mindset that turns impossible dreams into everyday reality. The mindset that allows you to wake up one day and realize you are finally free. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why wealth has nothing to do with luck, privilege, or chance, and everything to do with how you think. So stay with me, because what you are about to discover may just change the entire course of your life. Let's begin with a question. Why is it that two people, born in the same neighborhood, attending the same schools, sometimes even working in the same company, can end up in such drastically different financial situations? One becomes wealthy, the other remains broke. One builds a legacy, the other struggles to survive. The difference is not intelligence. It's not effort. It's not even luck. The difference is mindset. Here's what most people don't realize. Every action you take in life, every decision you make, is governed by an invisible set of beliefs you carry in your subconscious. These beliefs form a kind of operating system, just like the software running on a computer. And just as faulty software will cause a computer to crash, faulty beliefs about money will cause your financial life to collapse. This invisible software is what psychologists call a money blueprint. It's the script you live by, usually without even realizing it. And unless you deliberately rewrite it, your money blueprint will decide, with eerie precision, how much wealth you will or won't have in your lifetime. Think about it. If you believe deep down that money is evil, you will subconsciously sabotage every chance to create wealth. If you believe, I'm not worthy of being rich, you will push away opportunities without even realizing you're doing it. If you believe money is scarce, you will hoard, fear, and cling, never opening yourself to abundance. But if you believe money is a tool for good, I deserve abundance, opportunities are everywhere, then suddenly, the world opens up. You see possibilities others are blind to. You take actions others are too afraid to take. You attract the people, ideas, and resources that pull you toward wealth. Your outer world is always a mirror of your inner world. That is the invisible force shaping your life. And here's the best part: unlike your height, your skin color, or the family you were born into, mindset is changeable. You can reprogram it. You can rewire it. And when you do, your entire life will change. Imagine this for a moment. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a completely new set of beliefs about money. Imagine if you no longer feared lack, but expected abundance. Imagine if, instead of seeing obstacles, you saw opportunities. Imagine if you truly believed, with every fiber of your being, that wealth was not only possible for you, but inevitable. What would you dare to do differently? Who would you become? And how quickly would life begin to transform? Here's the challenge. Most of us are programmed for poverty from the very beginning. Think about the phrases you heard growing up. Maybe your parents said, "Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. Be happy with what you've got." These weren't just words. They were seeds. And every time you heard them, those seeds planted themselves deeper in your subconscious, growing into beliefs that now silently control you. This is what I call the poverty program. And tragically, most people never escape it. They carry those childhood beliefs into adulthood, repeating the same financial patterns generation after generation. This is why you often see entire family lines struggling financially, while others build dynasties of wealth. But let's pause here, because here's a powerful truth: poverty is not in your DNA. It is in your programming. And just like any program, it can be uninstalled, rewritten, and replaced. But first, you must become aware of it. You must recognize the lies you've been taught about money. Lies like, you need money to make money. Wanting wealth is selfish. Success is only for a lucky few. None of these are true. They are illusions, carefully passed down through culture, society, and sometimes even religion, designed to keep people small. The real truth: there is no shortage of wealth in this world. Money circulates endlessly, moving from hand to hand, from idea to idea, from problem to solution. And anyone, including you, can tap into that flow. But when you're trapped in poverty programming, you don't see flow. You see lack. You become like the person standing by a river with a tiny cup, terrified to take too much water, while someone else builds pipelines and irrigates entire cities. The difference is not the river. The difference is the mindset. So here's the question you must ask yourself: what beliefs about money did I inherit? And more importantly, are they serving me, or are they silently keeping me broke? Because until you confront the poverty program, until you rip out those weeds from your subconscious, you will forever limit the wealth you can attract. But once you rewrite the program, your financial destiny will never be the same again. So what is this mysterious, life-changing mindset that separates the wealthy from the struggling? It's not just about positive thinking. It's not blind optimism. It's not even hard work, though work is part of the equation. The mindset you need is the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset is the unshakable belief that opportunities are everywhere, that resources are infinite, that value can always be created, and that wealth is not a pie to be divided, it is a field to be cultivated. This single belief changes everything. Because if you believe opportunities are everywhere, you will look for them. And what you look for, you will find. If you believe resources are infinite, you will use creativity instead of excuses. If you believe value can always be created, you will become fearless in solving problems. And when you solve problems, wealth follows you like a shadow. The abundance mindset transforms your relationship with money itself. Instead of seeing it as scarce, you see it as energy, flowing, moving, multiplying. Instead of fearing loss, you trust in renewal. Instead of hoarding, you invest. And here's the paradox: the more you operate with abundance, the more abundance you actually attract. But here's the challenge. To adopt this mindset, you must unlearn the lies of scarcity that society has drilled into you. You must let go of the fear that if others win, you lose. You must let go of the jealousy when someone else becomes wealthy. You must let go of the doubt that whispers, "It's not for people like me." The abundance mindset requires courage. Because at first, it feels like stepping into the unknown. But soon, you realize it's not unknown at all. It's the truth that was always waiting for you. Let me repeat it clearly: the only mindset you need to attract wealth is the belief in abundance. Abundance of opportunities, abundance of value, abundance of wealth. Once you anchor this belief deep into your soul, the world will never look the same again. Sometimes, the best way to understand the abundance mindset is through stories. Because real lives prove what theory can only suggest. Let's begin with one of the most famous examples: Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Back in 1976, they were just two young men in a garage, surrounded by scraps of electronic parts. They didn't have a fortune. They didn't have investors. What they had was vision. They looked at a world dominated by giant corporations and said, "There's room for us, too." They believed abundance was possible. And with that belief, they created Apple, a company worth trillions today. Now imagine if they had operated from scarcity. They would have said, "The market is already taken." They would have said, "We don't have the money or connections." They would have said, "It's impossible." And if they had, you might not be holding an iPhone today. But Apple is just one story. Let's go deeper. Consider Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, she endured abuse and hardship most of us can't imagine. The poverty program could have trapped her forever. But she chose a different belief. She believed her voice mattered. She believed value could be created. She believed in abundance, even when her surroundings screamed lack. And today, Oprah is not just a billionaire, she is a global icon of inspiration. Or take Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. He grew up in a poor family, living in public housing. By every measure, his environment screamed scarcity. But when he traveled to Italy and saw the coffee culture, he thought, why not bring this to America? Scarcity would have said, people won't pay for coffee. Abundance said, they will, if you give them an experience. The result? Starbucks cafes on nearly every corner of the globe. And then there's Elon Musk. When he arrived in America, he didn't have much money. But he had an abundant belief in possibility. Scarcity would have said, electric cars can't compete. Abundance said, the future will be built by those who dare. Scarcity said, space is only for governments. Abundance said, why not us? And today, Tesla and SpaceX are household names. These are not just stories of business. They are stories of mindset. Of people who looked at the world, not as a pie with limited slices, but as a garden waiting to be cultivated. This is the power of the abundance mindset. It allows you to see what others cannot see, to believe what others cannot believe, and to create what others cannot create. Now let's compare the two mindsets side by side. Because until you see the contrast clearly, you may not realize how much scarcity has been shaping your life. Scarcity says, there's not enough to go around. Abundance says, there's more than enough for everyone. Scarcity says, if they win, I lose. Abundance says, if they win, we all win. Scarcity says, I can't afford it. Abundance asks, how can I afford it? Scarcity says, this is too risky. Abundance says, with risk comes reward, how can I manage it? Do you see the difference? Scarcity closes doors. Abundance opens them. Scarcity creates fear. Abundance creates courage. Scarcity shrinks your world. Abundance expands it. But let's make it practical. Imagine two people losing their jobs. The scarcity thinker panics. I'll never find another job. The economy is bad. Everything is against me. They spiral into fear, depression, and paralysis. The abundance thinker says, this is my chance to reinvent myself. Maybe I can start that business. Maybe I can learn a new skill. Maybe I can do something I've always wanted. They use the setback as fuel for growth. Same event, different mindset, different outcome. And here's what you must understand. The world will always give you reasons to think with scarcity. There will always be bad news, recessions, competition, failures. But those who rise above, those who create wealth, those who leave legacies, are the ones who refuse to let scarcity dominate their thinking. Scarcity is a prison built from fear. Abundance is the key that unlocks the door. And the choice between them is yours, every single day. At this point, you might be asking yourself, okay, I understand that I need the abundance mindset. But how do I actually develop it? How do I reprogram years of poverty thinking, fear, and limitation? It's a powerful question, and the answer is this: mindset is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Here are 7 practical steps you can take starting today to build the abundance mindset that will attract wealth into your life. 1. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude is the doorway to abundance. Because when you focus on what you already have, you stop vibrating with lack and start resonating with plenty. Every morning, write down at least 5 things you are grateful for. They don't need to be grand. It could be the roof over your head, the food on your table, the breath in your lungs. The act of acknowledging what's good rewires your brain to see abundance rather than scarcity. Over time, this shift changes everything, because when your mind expects abundance, it attracts more of it. 2. Reprogram your language. Words are powerful. They don't just describe reality, they create it. How often do you say, I can't afford it? Or, I'll never be rich? These phrases become self-fulfilling prophecies. Instead, begin replacing them with empowering language. Swap, I can't afford this with, how can I afford this? Swap, this is too hard with, I'll find a way. Swap, money is evil with, money is a tool for impact. Every time you shift your words, you shift your beliefs. And every time you shift your beliefs, you shift your destiny. 3. Surround yourself with abundant thinkers. Your environment shapes you more than you realize. If your circle is full of complainers, victims, and people who always talk about what they can't do, you will unconsciously adopt their scarcity. But if your circle is full of dreamers, doers, and wealth creators, their abundance will rub off on you. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely, and if you can't find abundant thinkers in person, read their books, watch their talks, listen to their podcasts. Fill your mind with their voices until they drown out the scarcity around you. 4. Invest in learning and skills. Here's a truth the wealthy understand: money follows value. And value comes from skills, knowledge, and creativity. If you want to attract wealth, you must become more valuable to the world. Read books, take courses, learn new technologies, master communication, develop leadership, build financial literacy. Every skill you add to your toolbox makes you more resourceful, more adaptable, and more abundant. Remember this: the more you grow, the more you earn. 5. Give before you receive. This may sound counterintuitive, but one of the fastest ways to attract wealth is to give. When you give, whether it's value, kindness, or even money, you signal to the universe that you trust abundance. You say, there is more where this came from. And what you give always finds its way back to you multiplied. Think of the wealthiest people in history: Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. Almost all became philanthropists, giving away billions. They understood that money flows like water. The more you let it flow through you, the more it returns. 6. Embrace failure as feedback. Scarcity sees failure as the end. Abundance sees failure as feedback. Every wealthy person has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference is, they don't let failure define them. They let it refine them. When you fail, ask, what can I learn? How can I grow? How can I use this setback as a stepping stone? This mindset transforms fear into courage. And courage is the currency of wealth. 7. Visualize abundance daily. Finally, use the power of visualization. Every night before you sleep, picture the life you want. Imagine yourself living in abundance, traveling, giving, building, thriving. When you do this, your brain begins to accept abundance as normal. And once your mind believes it, your actions align to make it real. Remember, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. These practices may seem small, but done consistently, they will rewire your beliefs at the deepest level. And once your mindset shifts, wealth will follow. At this point, you might be wondering, is this just motivational talk, or is there science behind it? The answer, absolutely. Modern neuroscience and psychology confirm what ancient wisdom has always taught: your mind shapes your reality. 1. The reticular activating system, RAS. In your brain, there's a powerful filter called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Its job is simple: to decide what information to focus on and what to ignore. For example, imagine you're thinking of buying a red car. Suddenly, you start seeing red cars everywhere. Were they always there? Yes. But now your RAS is filtering them into your awareness. The same thing happens with wealth. If you believe opportunities are everywhere, your RAS will filter the world to show you opportunities. If you believe money is scarce, your RAS will filter the world to show you obstacles. This is why mindset is everything. Because your brain literally creates the reality you expect to see. 2. Neuroplasticity, rewiring the brain. Scientists have discovered something remarkable: the brain is not fixed. It is plastic, meaning it can change, adapt, and rewire itself, a concept called neuroplasticity. Every thought you think creates a neural pathway. The more you repeat a thought, the stronger that pathway becomes. This is why scarcity thinking feels automatic. You've been rehearsing it for years. But here's the good news: you can create new pathways. By practicing gratitude, visualization, and empowering beliefs, you literally rewire your brain for abundance. Over time, these new pathways become your default, and attracting wealth becomes natural. 3. The law of attraction, explained through science. Some people roll their eyes at the law of attraction, dismissing it as pseudoscience. But when you look deeper, you realize it aligns perfectly with psychology. When you focus on abundance, your RAS filters opportunities, your actions change, your energy attracts people, and your decisions align with success. It's not magic, it's science, but to the person living it, it feels magical, because suddenly, life begins to flow in their favor. 4. The scarcity trap, stress and cortisol. Now let's talk about the opposite, scarcity. When you live in fear of lack, your brain releases stress hormones like cortisol. High cortisol levels shut down creativity, impair decision-making, and make you hyper-focused on survival rather than growth. This is why people trapped in poverty often struggle to break free, not because they aren't capable, but because their brains are locked in survival mode. The abundance mindset reverses this. It reduces stress, increases dopamine and serotonin, and activates the parts of the brain responsible for creativity, problem-solving, and long-term planning. In other words, abundance literally upgrades your brain for wealth. So when we say mindset creates wealth, it's not metaphor. It's biology, it's psychology, it's science. The world you see is the world your brain is programmed to notice. Change the program, and you change your world. Most people hesitate to pursue wealth because they feel they don't have enough to begin. They look at billionaires and think, I could never reach that level. I don't even have the resources to start. But let me tell you the truth, wealth is not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. Every great fortune started with something small. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a garage. Oprah Winfrey began with nothing but a voice and a dream. Elon Musk slept on his office floor while building his first company. Even Cornelius Vanderbilt, one of America's earliest tycoons, began with a small ferry boat. The abundance mindset teaches you that your small start is not a limitation, it's a foundation. Because when you shift your mind to abundance, even $1 in your pocket feels like a seed capable of producing an entire orchard. The trap of waiting for the perfect time. One of the greatest lies that keeps people poor is this: I'll start when the time is right. But let me break the truth to you, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be bills. There will always be fear. There will always be reasons to delay. Those with the scarcity mindset wait. They say, I'll invest when I have more. I'll chase my dream when I'm more prepared. I'll take the risk when I feel safe. But safety never comes first. Courage does. The abundance mindset tells you this: start where you are, with what you have, and the rest will follow. Wealth is built by those who act, not those who wait. From scarcity to overflow. Let's imagine two people. One lives in scarcity. Every bill feels like a threat. Every opportunity feels like a scam. Every loss feels like the end. The other lives in abundance. Bills become reminders of the value they exchange for. Opportunities are everywhere, waiting to be seized. Losses are lessons, not endings. Now, ask yourself, which of these two people is more likely to succeed? The answer is obvious. The abundance mindset creates overflow. Scarcity drains. One attracts, the other repels. The generational ripple. Here's what's even more powerful. The mindset you choose doesn't just affect you. It affects generations after you. When you embrace abundance, your children watch you take bold risks, believe in possibilities, and act with faith. They inherit not just your money but your mindset. When you embrace scarcity, they inherit fear, hesitation, and lack. This is why wealthy families talk about money openly. They normalize abundance. Meanwhile, struggling families often whisper about money in shame. If you want to build generational wealth, you must first build generational mindsets. Because wealth fades when the mindset fades. Practical steps to lock in the abundance mindset. Let's bring this home. How do you keep this abundance mindset alive? Here are 5 practical steps you can start today. 1. Affirm daily. Every morning, declare, I am a magnet for wealth. Opportunities flow to me effortlessly. Words shape your reality. 2. Visualize abundance. Spend 5 minutes each day picturing the life you want. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It starts moving you toward what you focus on. 3. Surround yourself with growth. The people around you are either feeding scarcity or abundance. Choose wisely. 4. Act on small opportunities. Don't wait for the $1 million idea. Act on the $10 opportunity. It's the small doors that lead to the big gates. 5. Express gratitude for what you have. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and enough into more. Do this daily, and soon abundance won't just be a mindset. It will be your lifestyle. So now, I challenge you. Don't just watch this video and feel inspired. Act. Pick one small step today. Write down one abundant thought. Start one conversation about opportunity. Invest one small amount into your future. Speak one declaration of abundance over your life. The journey to wealth doesn't begin with a fortune. It begins with a mindset shift and a single action. If this message spoke to you, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to join a community of dreamers, doers, and wealth builders. Because this is not just about money. This is about freedom. This is about rewriting your story. This is about living abundantly in every area of your life. Let me leave you with this final thought. The only mindset you need to attract wealth is the belief that there is enough opportunities, enough resources, enough wealth for you. 2. You don't have to fight for scraps. You don't have to beg for crumbs. You don't have to live in fear of losing. The universe expands, money circulates, opportunities multiply, and all of it is waiting for you to step into it. So, don't shrink, don't doubt, don't wait. Step boldly, think abundantly, live abundantly, because wealth is not just for the chosen few. It's for those who choose abundance. And today, I hope you've made that choice.